At the end of another spectacular year in the life of Prince Naseem Hamed, it's time for Britain's most talked-about young fighter to relax at Christmas with his fellow boxers. Opinions on Naseem vary, of course. Brash, flashy, arrogant, or charismatic, talented and exciting. Certainly the private man is not the same as the public persona. Naz, as he's known to everyone in the sport, may be the big name in Brendan Ingall's Sheffield gym, but to them, he's just one of the lads. When he's not fighting, he's always there for the other boxers in the gym, like Ryan Rhodes and Johnny Nelson. As on this night, when both fighters leave for the arena, with Naz as a sort of unofficial cheerleader for the major fights they face that night. Backstage, he helps his lifelong friend Ryan Rhodes to prepare for the biggest night of his life. And at ringside, he's living every single punch. First, rooting for Nelson against the veteran Dennis Andries in a fight for the vacant British cruiserweight title. Johnny Nelson regains the British cruiserweight title. Next, it's Ryan Rhodes, who, like Naseem, has been knocking around the gym at Wincobank since he was not much more than a toddler.
And then a right hand, and down goes Silky Jones. Great shot that was from Ryan Rhodes. He's up at 7, but he's all over the place, Jones. He might not be able to go on here. He's stopped. Ryan Rhodes is the youngest British champion at any weight for 57 years.
2 more belts for the remarkable Sheffield gym, but soon Naseem gets big news about his own career. It's the announcement at a London hotel that Naz will face his acid test early in 1997, and as always his mentor Brendan Ingall is there to get the news of a unification fight with Tom Johnson.
The fight that I think a lot of people have been waiting for will happen, which will be the featherweight meeting between the WBO featherweight champion, Prince Naseem Hamed, and the IBF champion, Tom Johnson. This is the fight where some of you doubters are going to see whether this young man on my left's got it.
So an exciting end to a year of highs and lows in the life of Prince Naseem. It all began with a broken hand. But soon he was breaking the spirits of opponents on his way back into the ring. Poor Saeed Lawal folded in 35 seconds. In summer, Naz went to prison, just for a charity gig, you understand. They carried him in to fight Daniel Alicia, and for a moment we thought they might carry him out as well. But the Prince's answer to his first knockdown was to produce the knockout. There was talk of Naz fighting Irishman Wayne McCulloch.
No excuse anymore, Wayne. It's done. It's Wayne's world. You've got your $1 million.
But the Prince was defying doctors' orders to fight ex-world champion Manuel Medina, and he nearly paid for it. But he showed real grit to win after a real scare.
I'm not making no excuses whatsoever, but I have a very, very bad cold before the fight.
Come Judgment Night, Naz was in the mood to make someone pay, and the prediction, well, it was the usual one.
I've told you, 2 rounds.
2 fingers.
Can you see it in my eyes?
2 fingers.
It's going to be a great night. I'm looking forward to it. Come on!
And the result? The resistance of an Argentine electrician called Remigio Molina ended in round 2, just like the man said.
I predicted the 2nd minute of the 2nd round, and whoa, what a prediction.
But that's just scratching the surface. In this Christmas special, let's take you back 12 months. Naz had just won his world title.
I'm just too good. I proved it on the night. I proved what I was going to say from the age of 11, 18, when I first started as a professional. I was going to be world champion.
Yes, Naseem started 1996 with the WBO featherweight crown he'd won on a rainy night in Cardiff, silencing a hostile Welsh crowd with an emphatic victory over the local hero, Steve Robinson. Not even the rain could hit Naseem that night. But into every life, a few drops must fall. And as 1996 was ushered in, there was an ominous injury, a broken hand. Training was restricted, and soon the press were told that the first fight of the new year was off.
End of the day, I hurt my hand, I couldn't fight. So I've got to take it in that respect that I couldn't box because of my hand, obviously.
We wondered if Naseem's career might be threatened. Even the normally chirpy Frank Warren seemed worried.
3 of the bones in the hand have fused together and they need to be separated. So unfortunately he's got because he's a big puncher, I think he's in a position like Lloyd Hannigan's been in and other big punchers like John Conte, although I'm hoping it's not, and we don't believe it's as serious as that, but he won't be boxing.
They knocked me out for an hour and anaesthetic, and it's a keyhole surgery, and basically looked all the way through the hand and says further to come is going to be basically probably a cortisone injection, and I'll probably be fighting in a couple of months. You never know. That hand's going to be knocking somebody out clean.
It was Barry McGuigan who said what we were all thinking.
That's a very worrying sign, and if you go into the gym too early and hurt that hand again, the injury can recur.
Meanwhile, the featherweight division was getting on with business. The long-reigning IBF champion, Tom Johnson, came over from America to Newcastle and promptly got dumped on the floor by Colombian Eva Belenio. But Johnson is a class act, a master technician, and got up to win. There was already talk that he and the Prince would meet as they cavorted around the ring that night. But there was no deal just yet.
I had my arm around him to try and pal him up so he can give me a fight. So I can take that IBF belt off him, you know? And after the fight, he said, yeah, I'll fight you. And then you get a load of rubbishes in. Oh, I don't want to box you yet, I don't want to box you. But hopefully the fight is going to happen. I can't wait.
March the 16th was a boxing D-Day either side of the Atlantic. Frank Bruno's world heavyweight title defense against Mike Tyson was centre stage. And even Naseem had to take a supporting role.
I'll be cheering you on. I know you can do it.
While in Glasgow, the Prince, his broken hand now mended, was strutting his stuff all over again on his way to a first title defence against one Saeed Lawal.
The right hand we were worried about.
The fight's all over. The fight is all over. His legs have gone. The referee could just call this. Nazo, I wonder if he'll back off and just let him recover. Because this fight should be stopped. That young fellow's legs are completely gone. If this fight is not finished in the first round, it's because Naz doesn't want to. Yep, it's all over. All over.
The most clinical finish seen in the British ring for some time. And Prince Naseem Hamed retains his WBO featherweight title.
Well, we didn't learn anything new, but we were reminded of the chilling power that Naz has with one single punch. That's all it took. All that training, all that road work, all that preparation for one punch. And the next work is over. You see, and he goes, supreme confidence. Just looking, out it comes. Wide punch, bang, perfectly on the chin, and it's all over. The referee could really have stopped it then, because when Lawal got up, he had nothing to offer. His legs were gone. I wondered if maybe Naz would back off and allow him to recover. He decided not to. One more punch, doing exactly as he pleases.
Naz, congratulations. I think you answered one question we had, how the right hand was. I think the right hand's in pretty good shape.
The right hand's perfect. As you see, I don't tell lies. When I make predictions, I make to knock him out. Now, he wasn't going to the second round, but I would have loved to do it in the second round because I predicted it. But at the end of the day, it hit him so hard, the first shot, and it put him down, basically. So, what the hell with the second round, you know? He was going, so he had to go.
Did you know it was a meaningful punch when you threw it?
I knew it hit him bang on. I timed it so precise. I told everybody in my changing room what I was going to do first round. And if it had hurt him, and it did. It hit him with a beautiful, cracking timing shot. that's what a true professional is, a true world champion. So everybody out there what are listening, especially the fighters that want to fight, like, sweet, seeing stupid people out in Britain, they get knocked out, Sparko.
Once again, this precocious young champion had made it all look so ridiculously easy.
It was as easy as I wanted to make it, basically. I walked out there and I saw a shot, saw my opening, just launched it straight off the launch pad, and it just basically hit him bang on target. That split-second timing, the accuracy, the power, just took his spark out. I know definitely that probably I'm the strongest and the hardest puncher as a featherweight. So I'm going out there basically thinking in my mind, if I hit you, you're going to drop.
Meanwhile, Big Frank, who'd talked a great fight in Vegas, suddenly seemed consumed by fear when faced with the reality of Mike Tyson.
Again, Bruno momentarily turns up with the claw by 3, 4, 5 punch combination. Right uppercut starting in. Bruno's in desperate trouble. It's going to be stopped. It's over. Bruno's lost his title, and Iron Mike is champion all over again.
For years, men like Bruno, Ben and Eubank had been British boxing's top draw cards. Now this unofficial crown had passed to Prince Naseem Hamed, and of course he wasn't shy about accepting it.
I'm making people happy, yeah. People are out there and people are banging it down. I want more people to get subscribed for Sky, because if they're not, they're going to be watching other fighters, you know, and the main fighter to watch in my mind at the moment is obviously Prince Naseem, because I mean I'm producing the goods, and obviously in my mind I'm carrying the torch for Britain, you know. And as soon as I get to the States, I'll be flying the flag, because I'm out there to beat a lot of fighters, you know, to win what I can win.
This is a scenario only too familiar to Mike Tyson. But Prince Naseem Hamed goes to jail too, you know. Mind you, in his case, it is only as a visitor. Lindholm Prison in Yorkshire is home to some hard men. But every year, Brendan Ingall's team of quick, elusive boxers go there and take on the inmates in a show for charity.
Naz, I'm going to give you these, I'm going to knock you out 100%, you're all mine, the number 2 round you're going down, see you later.
You know I'm champ!
Now boy, we need to see over the top.
You can't put these muscles on your chin.
I know that.
So if you get banged on this chin, you know what's going to end up happening, don't you?
The prisoners fancy their chances, though. Of course, the gag is they're especially effective on the inside.
There's no rules. There's no rules, no regulations. You've just got to get out there and fight for your right.
Worth remembering that nobody is paying Naseem thousands of pounds to appear here. He's doing it all for charity. Easy enough for a young millionaire to play the precious prima donna in these circumstances, but instead he joins in with some relish. The strutting, boastful showman you normally see on TV is not the real Prince Naseem Hamed, but it does, of course, sell tickets. No, the fellow does have a more thoughtful and gentle side.
When people speak to me in public, they say, "You're a bit quiet, aren't you?" And stuff like that. You're really relaxed, aren't you? And you come really across different on television, you know. But at the end of the day, that's why I do come across differently on television. It's me, you know. It's end of the day, it's the buzz that I feel and how I've got to get across to the people on the other side watching the television.
When the camera's on him, he's totally different to what he is when the camera's on him. It's just a big show, really. It's to get the public's eye looking. Look at that, it's nice, look what he's saying and things like that. It's totally different, it's totally different. And I think in people's eyes, he's arrogant. The people that don't know him, that's the people that don't know him, he's arrogant, he's this and that. But Naz is totally different when the camera's not on him. He's down to earth and chills out and does everything like other people do. Plays snooker, goes to like Meadowhall or things like that. He just does what normal people do.
After everything what's happened, what I've earned, what I've accumulated, you know, no matter how much I win, my feet are firmly on the floor.
But on this night, they're quite literally not on the floor. He loves the limelight, the fame, the adulation that comes his way. Some older fight fans might think all this is way over the top, but he feels that there's a show to be put on and the glitzy entrances are just part of the package.
Please welcome one of boxing's young sensations. Here is the one and only and one-of-a-kind, undefeated WBO featherweight champion of the world, introducing Prince Naseem Hamed.
For the first time, Prince Naseem is being shown live on American TV, and the commentator they call the Colonel is in town.
Well, Prince Naseem Hamed is making his debut on American television, which of course goes across the United States. He's going to be a big star. They don't know too much about him yet, but before this night is over, they'll know a lot about him. They'll love his antics. Nothing has been seen like this since Muhammad Ali back in the early 60s. They're going to love this kid, and I think he'll be a big star.
Daniel Alicia was the challenger for Naz's second defense of the world title at the Newcastle Arena on the first day of Euro 96 in June. Alicia, a tough 23-year-old Puerto Rican who was unbeaten in 15 fights, and 13 of those wins had come by knockout. But to most observers, it seemed that Alicia was stepping out of the paddling pool and into the ocean. Could he pose questions the Prince hadn't yet been asked, like how would he cope under pressure in a tough fight? Naz, wearing a Newcastle United shirt for PR purposes, seemed blissfully unconcerned about it all. But then he always does, doesn't he?
Remember this fight for the first time ever. Prince Naseem Hamed being shown live in the United States. The boxing fraternity there have heard all about him, but your average sports fan certainly hasn't. This is his chance to impress them and maybe get all the talk going about a big fight with the likes of a Barrera or a Zuma Nelson. But remember, last time out he won in 35 seconds, Prince Naseem. The fourth fastest win in world title history against Saeed Lawal. What has Alicea got to offer? Good enough to be a world champion, junior champion as an amateur. Naseem is always looking to throw punches from unusual angles. There's been talk in the build-up to this of him throwing a secret punch that he's been working on. Two very good left hands from him there. Big factor in the fight is whether Alicea can take a shot. Anyone who fights Prince Naseem will need that quality if they're to beat him. Durability and resilience, because he does hit by all accounts like a middleweight, even though he's a featherweight.
Alicea also needs to be able to react very quickly, because the punches from Hamed come from all sorts of angles very quickly. So Alicea has to be able to react. He has to read what Hamed is going to do.
Remember, even a battle-hardened fighter like Steve Robinson, who'd had several world title fights, could barely lay a glove on Prince Naseem. Alicea covering up very well, getting his arms up well to try and block those punches from whatever angle. A right hand gets through from Alicea. He did catch Naseem with one there. Good right over the top, though, from Naseem.
Well, Alicea keeping his hands up quite well. That's very important, the defense. Just as Naseem went to throw his left, he got caught off Alicea's right.
Good, fast right hand from Naseem. Alicea has taken the punches well so far. Naseem is talking to him as usual. He's had some criticism from some sections of the media for trying to humiliate opponents in the past. Thin line between psychological warfare and tastelessness, of course. But Alicea looks full of ambition here and belief.
Yes, and certainly he's not psyched out in any way. Good right hand again.
Oh, he's got him down! Naseem is put down by a right hand. It was only a flash knockdown, but he'll have to take a mandatory 8 count. down for the first time in his career. What about this in the first round? He wasn't so elusive there. Waving Alicea in.
Well, this is the questions we want asked. What is Hamed like when he's getting hit? And he went down. So this is a very different fight now. We know that Alicea can get to him.
Well, Alicea might have heard about the reputation, but he's taking no notice of it. What about that? Alicea puts Naseem Hamed down for the first time in his career. Flash knockdown, really. But how much has that dented Hamed's confidence? We thought this might be a tricky fight for him, and it shapes that way.
But a good punch there, good long right hand. You see the hands are right down, catches it again, long spearing right hand to the chin. And again, just as he was getting away from that one didn't seem to have the full power in it. But look at that one did. He took that one quite well, Hamed, but there was more to come.
When I did go down, I was coming out of a roll, and you could see it if you watch it on tape again. I was off balance, I was going backwards, and he just clipped me on the way back. It's simple to do, but at the end of the day, you've got to be able to do it, and he did it.
Alicea, who says he's looked at a lot of videos of Naseem Hamed, he's spotted weaknesses, and he says tonight he will expose them. Has he already started to do that? Second round. Well, this is the most interesting Prince Naseem Hamed fight, well, I'd say, ever, already. And we've only had a round of it. Round two, Alicea in the stripes.
And this is where you wonder what's happening in Hamed, in his mind. Is his confidence starting to go? Can he keep the confidence up?
Alicea's rangy, long arms, and again, Naseem is getting caught more tonight than I think I've seen him caught in probably 10 fights. Got through with a right hand, but Alicea is showing good resilience so far. Every time Naseem lands, he just takes the punch. He looks a real hard nut, doesn't he?
He really does. He looks strong, but Hamed come back well there with a couple of nice loose punches that really seem to land heavily on Alicea.
The Prince is used to seeing fighters fall apart when he lands with his heavy artillery, but Alicea, so far anyway, hasn't done this. And what's making this fascinating is that Prince Naseem Hamed is being asked questions that we haven't seen before. He's caught by a right uppercut, and that almost limbo dancer-style defense of his is being put to the test.
But often the head movement like that, it's very difficult to get out of the way of all of the punches. He's got to try and get his hands up, Hamed, here.
He's switching orthodox for a moment there, Hamed.
Good solid right hand there.
Oh, left hook, and down goes Alicea. There's the answer. And he's in a bad way, on very unsteady legs. It was a left hook that did it in the second round. And Prince Naseem reasserts himself.
He looked at very heavy right hand, then that little short left hook. He went down heavily there. Bad moments for Alicea.
Can his head clear? Can he get through this? This is a vital last 45 seconds. Another right hand. Has his legs splayed in the corner. Needs to get the gloves up. The final bell for this round cannot come soon enough for Alicea, who lands a very good left hook of his own. Under half a minute left in this round. Naseem looking to build on that breakthrough. Knockdown in both rounds so far. Heavy right, and a left, and I don't think he'll get up from that. It's called off. The fight is over. The fight is over. There'll be no count. He's won it in round two. The 9th time he's won in round two. And that was Hamed's answer to suffering the first knockdown of his career. The finish really was chilling and frightening. And Alicea is still down. And Prince Naseem Hamed retains his WBO featherweight championship against a young fighter who arrived with a lot of belief, who put him on the floor. But Hamed, give him credit, there was the answer.
That's right, Alicea asked Hamed them questions, the ones we've all wanted to know. Hamed answered them fantastically. very good power punching, found the angles, and really when he went down very heavily. Really does carry some power in his fists.
Alisea managed to land more punches on Hamed, certainly than Steve Robinson did on the whole of the 8 rounds those two fought. It was only 2 rounds, but what an interesting 2 rounds they were.
They certainly were. Alisea really came out to have a fight, wasn't overawed, took the fight to Hamed, hurt Hamed, put him over, and it looked as if Hamed may have a lot more in this fight than he was going to bargain for. But Hamed answered the questions fantastically. He came back, beautiful punches and very heavy hands.
This is how it finished. It was a 2-punch combination.
The best feeling about it is knowing that when my shots connect and I've gone bam, and it's lights out, you think, all the training I've done, you know, everything's just like a jigsaw.
To tell you the truth, I felt so good in there, but when he hit me with a good shot, I didn't even see the shot. But to tell you the truth, I got back up, know where my feet were, and when I plant my punches, see, I'm just too strong. When they connected and I put my preciseness together, my accuracy, it connected beautifully. And I hit him. I told you, when I hit him, they're going down from Allah. They're getting knocked out from Allah.
Many people have said they wanted to get you hit on the chin. What did it feel like when you went down for the first time?
It was beautiful. It was good. It was nice to taste, a nice, good shot by a good, very, very good fighter, undefeated. But as you see my heart and my power and Allah behind me, I got up, I planted my punches, planted my feet. Allahu Akbar, I just hit him so hard. He weren't getting up from that last shot, you saw it yourself. I'm never going to get beat, full stop. I refuse to lose. Allah will never make me lose. I will never lose. You see this nice belt? I'm never, ever going to lose. Blatantly. I ain't losing nothing.
Naz left as he'd entered, but even he felt the throne was going a bit too far.
Never again. Never again. That won't happen again. I wasn't comfortable with the situation. It might have looked all right, and it might have come down well for the American public, but at the end of the day, I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't myself coming out. I was myself in the ring. I make no excuses again. Brilliant fighter, Alisea. He done what he had to do, and then he got knocked out clean. But as I say, I'll always come out the way I want to come out now, and that's come out dancing.
But some people wondered if the knockdown meant the Prince had a porcelain chin, but that ring of self-confidence remained undented.
It was brilliant. End of the day, I took two good shots off him already. The best shot, what he hit me with, was before I got put down. So my head snapped back and I come straight back. So that showed basically I had a terrific chin and terrific legs altogether by the shot that I took before. But it's hard to beat a fighter that is never negative in the sense of he was well hyped up for the fight, and he came from Puerto Rico to fight to win that world title. He was undefeated and a world champion as an amateur. It was a feeling as if, you know, what am I doing here? This is not me. Let's get up and put him on out, as Muhammad Ali says when I watched him box Henry Cooper, you know?
Out of the ring, it was a year in which Naseem's bank balance and celebrity status blossomed, starting with an award from a fictitious boxing star to a real one.
How are you? They love you. They love you. Smile. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. You've got something, I know, very special to announce. Exactly. So, over to you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great to be back in the land of original boxing, so it's quite a thrill. Anyway, I was asked by Sky to present a special award, the Sports Entertainer of the Year. And I've watched this young man fight several times, and I love the way he entertains. And I'm proud to announce the winner of the Sports Entertainer of 1995 is Prince Naseem Hamed.
It was a year, too, when the media spotlight intensified on a young man who is still only 22.
The money can't ruin me. Totally down to earth.
I'm messing around with jerks. My car is parked outside. I'm afraid it doesn't work. I'm looking for a partner, someone who gets things fixed. Ask yourself this question: do you want to be rich? I've got the brains, you've got the look.
My job is to make sure that all the commercial and PR and marketing doesn't interfere at all with his training.
I like to train on my own, with my own pride, and not in front of cameras all the time. Same photographer, same questions, but at the end of the day, it's got to be done. It's what comes with the job. I've put myself in the position and the media will ever come.
It's my job to sort of make sure that everything is running smoothly. Got to look after all the commercial, all the financial stuff, and it's just making sure that everything sort of ticks, you know, and that there's no major hiccups, and we sort of try and prevent things from going wrong if we do see them going wrong.
Naz enjoys stardom, but don't the demands of it get a bit wearing for him sometimes?
When you don't want it, and obviously you have to do it in everything, it gets a little bit now and again hectic and you don't want to do it. But it's what comes with the job, you know, you've got to take it.
Yet throughout his Goldfish Bowl existence, Naseem has never forgotten that the #1 priority is boxing.
I have got time, because I make time end of the day, but I make time for training, you know. I train sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter to me when I train. If I feel like getting up and training at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I'll train.
As we move towards autumn, the story of Prince Naseem Hamed's year was to switch to Dublin. For Naz's Irish trainer and father figure, Brendan Eagle, it was something of a homecoming. Naz was fighting former world champion Manuel Medina, and of course they made sure the whole city knew about it. Naz may now be a young millionaire, but he remains loyal to the Sheffield team at the St Thomas's Club gym. These are the people who moulded his talent, and he's never going to forget it.
You've seen the gym. No matter what I've got, how much I earn, the gym is the gym. It's in Sheffield, it's in Winkerbank. I'm down there every day. That's where I train, that's where I'm based. I ain't changing nothing. Do you know what I mean? That's my winning formula, that's what I do. As I say, Brendan's been like a father from the age of 7. One thing I've always told him, no matter who comes up to me, waves anything under my nose, any carrot, whatever, you know, and says, come with us, do this, do that, let us manage it. End of the day, he'll always be there. He'll always be there to train me. He'll always be there beside me, you know. Always be in the corner.
Naz is not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea myself, but Naz, you cannot fault him. He come in here at 7, and 7 days a week, never miss. Travel all over the country with the amateurs and the pros. He put the time in, now he's reaping the rewards. He's put 15 years in here, hard slog. It hasn't been easy.
Sheffield, of course, has had its share of sporting kudos. Wednesday and United, the World's Snooker at the Crucible Theatre, and Naseem is something of a fan of the city's basketball stars. Right now, the Prince himself is Sheffield's most famous sporting son, and they're proud to have him.
He helps our profile, our sporting profile, and he talks about Sheffield. He's an ambassador for Sheffield elsewhere. But of course, Sheffield are always pleased when people reach these sort of dizzy heights that he has.
All Sheffield's behind me, so I've got to tell Sheffield. You got your Wednesday, you got United, and you got the Prince. We're coming up. Sheffield's a big town, hitting it large.
Now the fight with Medina draws near. It's the Dublin weigh-in. Nobody knew it then, but Naseem was battling with such a heavy cold that he was advised to withdraw, but refused. Medina was sure that he'd be hitting a winning note. And Frank Warren was sparring with Wayne McCulloch, the Irish world champion, who wants to fight the Prince.
So we have no excuses anymore, Wayne. It's done. It's Wayne's world. You've got your $1 million.
An easy fight.
I'll step back there.
Relations between fighters and promoters can be strained, but Naz couldn't be happier with Frank Warren.
I want them 4 belts. And with the best promoter in the world, on my right, second father and shit. I reckon it definitely can be done. He's the man to make the matches, I'm the man to take them out. The guy's just a brilliant promoter and a brilliant man. We've got a relationship like a father and son relationship, me and Frank. He puts on the fights, he's got the buzz about him, he's young, you know. He's not like the promoters that are out there that are boring. He's the man. As soon as I went with him, and beautiful person, brilliant money.
The feelings are obviously mutual. Frank Warren knows he has a gold mine with Naseem.
We get on very well together, and you know, it's developed. I mean, when I first met him, I just hit it off with him, and we just really get on well together. And I get sort of very worried when he fights, more so than some of the other fighters, because that's the way our relationship's developed. And I do my best to look after him and ensure that everything is right for him, and that I'll continue to do so. And it's a privilege to promote him, because he is a very respectful young man. I mean, if people knew him really well, they'd be really shocked to see what he's like. I mean, he's a very respectful young man, and he's great to work with.
All of this is a remarkable story for the little boy from the Sheffield corner shop run by his dad Sal, who of course is the biggest fan of all.
My son is very good. Honest to God, we are proud of Naseem. Naseem very kind. We love Naseem, and it's easy to control Naseem.
In fact, Naseem's success story really has become a family affair.
It's a very close-knit family, and we all sort of we're always around each other, and it's important that all the family's around, well, not all of the family, but most of the family, because some of the family can't make it and things like that, that he knows that the family is there, and you won't have it any other way.
My family, I'm so happy about my family, because at the end of the day, I'm making them so happy. I put them in a nice, beautiful, big house. They've got a nice, beautiful, big car. They can go on holiday anytime they want. They've got spending money. They've got whatever they want from me, because at the end of the day, they put me in this world, and they've given me everything that I've wanted, They've stuck behind me. We're a very close family, and a very stable family. And as I say, my upbringing has been a lot to me, and I've realised what my upbringing has done. You get a lot of people and a lot of fighters out there who are one single parents and stuff like that, And they've only got just a mum or a dad or whatever, and it's hard for the kids growing up realising they haven't got a father or they haven't got a mother,
But there's only one man in the family who can take care of business on fight night, and that is Prince Naseem himself. He arrives early for work against Manuel Medina at the Point in Dublin. The music of Oasis blasts out in the dressing room as Naseem prepares himself for the third defense of his world title. If he's tense, it isn't showing. And then the showman steps outside to meet his public. It would prove to be the most demanding night yet of his career. Remember that the Prince was put on the floor by Daniel Alicia in his last fight. Tall, rangy Medina, not known as a big puncher, but awkward and busy, and of proven world quality. He was a world champion as recently as last year. And a good right hand from Hamid, who's just beginning, you feel, to find his rhythm. It's taken him a bit of time, but that's often the way with him.
And there's blood around the face of Medina.
This is the round. He predicted he'd win the left hand. Puts Medina down. Is he going to be able to get up from that? Yes, he does. Oh, he's all over the place. Very unsteady on his legs. It'll be a mandatory 8 count. There's only 10 seconds left in the round. And the final bell can't come quick enough for Medina. Hamid looking to finish him off in round 2. But I think the bell's going to come for the Mexican. Any second now, another right hand, another left hand, and Medina gets through.
It was going to happen in that round, and I put him down, and he was absolutely gone. What can I say? I was there to take him out, and the bell, not just the bell saved him, the referee did him a lot of favours, and in my mind, that went well past 10 seconds.
Scheduled to go 12 rounds, and Prince Naseem Hamed has only gone that route once against Vincenzo Belcastro when he won the European Championship. But that was 12 easy paced rounds as far as he was concerned. Caught by a big right counter that time was Hamed. And once again you ask the question if that was a heavier puncher. And once again he gets through with right hands. He's getting caught too much. His own timing is a bit awry, Hamed. And there are one or two little danger signals flashing here at the moment for him.
I was having a fight in the ring. I was having a fight when the bell rang, and then when the bell rang again to go to the corner, I was having another fight, my breathing, because I couldn't breathe properly.
Oh, crunching right uppercut from Hamed, followed it with the left hand too. He's looking more impressive now.
And this is better, but Medina coming back with a good right hand of his own.
But he's beginning to set himself for these shots, Hamed. Now there was a right hand as well. He's making Medina miss almost arrogantly, swaying out of the way. The Medina is cut. That isn't helping his cause any either.
Good right hands from Medina. He's landing more and more. And they're both prepared to trade now.
Get off balance again. Oh, right hand knocks Hamed's gum shield out. He smiles, a rather silly smile at Medina. Bit unsteady on his legs again, a little half smile plays across the lips of Hamed as if to say, not in trouble, but there's a lull in the action, and they will have to put the gum shield back in.
Well, it didn't seem a good time to do it when Medina was in good control there. He'd rocked the head back of Hamed a couple of times, and there was a few danger signals.
It's the World Featherweight Championship as recognised by the World Boxing Organisation. Glenn has it even at the moment, and a right hand from Hamed has Medina down in the 9th round. Medina nods to his corner. He says he's all right. He's got to get up, though, before the count gets to 10. He just about made that. There can't have been a lot in it. Oh, he gets through with a shot of his own again. It rocked Hamed's head back on his shoulders. And the warnings Hamed's had about keeping his gum shield hands low, sometimes counting against him. And again, he found the right hand there. Second time in the round that Medina's been down. And remember, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. So one more knockdown in this round by Prince Naseem Hamed will give him this fight.
And someone in Medina's corner was up trying to wave it over there, but he's sat back down. Well, we said how durable Medina was. He's really living up to that. But Hamed, much the better work at the end of this round.
Hamed, who describes his power as a God-given talent, looking almost bemused that Medina is still in front of him. Well, another big round for Prince Naseem Hamed, and Manuel Medina's face at the moment is looking a bit of a mess. He seems to have it under control now, Glenn. And it's over, in fact. The referee has called the fight off. The referee, Gino Rodriguez, says that Medina cannot go on. And Prince Naseem Hamed is still the WBO featherweight champion.
I've boxed with a cold, I've got the heart, it's got to them trenches where I've showed I've got the biggest heart. I carried on, I overcome the situation and beat him well, and it's not going to happen again. It won't happen again.
How satisfying a night's work was that, because it looked like your most demanding fight?
Yeah, well, it's a very good fight for me because he was a very good opponent. You know, I proved myself at the end of the day. I mean, I return in and I'll box Wayne McCulloch. They can shout as long as they want for him because I'm going to knock his spark out. You know? I'm going to do it, believe me. He's not like, he won't fight any fighters like this. You know? I'll fight him and I'll fight any of them. All I'm saying is, end of the day, a W is a W. I'm a winner. No excuses at all. Bad call before the fight, but I ain't got no excuses. End of the day, Manuel Medina was a great fighter. 2 world titles, you know. I proved myself. he's a good fighter, and I took him, and I beat him. End of the day, I split his eye with a good, very, very good shots.
Irishman Wayne McCulloch was still chasing a fight with Naseem. He did get one, though, with Frank Warren.
In your own town, at the weigh-in, you came to the weigh-in. We didn't ask you you come along to the weigh-in, and in front of all these Irish journalists all standing there, you said you wanted $1 million, and I wrote it out on a piece of paper and gave it to you, didn't I? Did I do that?
Whatever.
Did I do that?
Whatever.
Did I do it? Are you saying I didn't do it?
Whatever.
I did it, and you now are reneging on it. So if the fight don't go on, if the fight don't go on, you know why.
I said yesterday that
I told everybody you'd do it.
I says, give me the contract and I'll show it to my manager and my lawyer.
You said you want $1 million, and that's what you asked for in front of all these judges.
I didn't mention any money. I'll fight Naseem any place, any.
I'm going to be the referee here. We'll call this off for the moment. It may be a story that's
He'll fight you
resumed.
in Ireland. He said he'll fight you in Ireland, in your backyard.
The Americans were unimpressed with Naseem, but he felt the illness explained all.
As soon as I stepped in the ring, as soon as after the second round, I started feeling it in the middle of the second round and feeling that I couldn't breathe properly. It's a terrible experience, but I've been through it and I've won. In my mind, I boxed out masking. You know, I boxed very, very well. And what can I say? I mean, who nowadays, when they've got a cold or a big chest infection like I had on that night, gets out of their bed to go to work in the morning? They don't even get out of bed in the morning to go to work when they've got a cold, you know? They have time off. And I had to get in and box 11 rounds, hard rounds. That fight, actually, a lot of people come up to me and say you've built a lot more fans because of that fight. And seen your heart, they've seen the way you could box. When it comes to moments like that, when you can't breathe or whatever, they heard me in the interviews after the fight in the press conference. The way I was speaking, everything, I was banged up really bad. That was the worst night that I've ever had as a cold. It came out of me that night. That was the night where it was just coming out of me, the cold. So it was the worst time it could have happened, you know. I got caught more in that fight than the whole of my career. But what can I say? I had the experience. I took the shots. I never went down. But I did well. In my mind, I did so well that they can never take anything away from me for that fight, you know. I was still able to put him down 3 times and hit him with good shots. And actually, if you looked at his face at the press conference at the end of the night, and you looked at my face, I mean, you'd know who were in a fight or not. I mean, he had a serious face on him at the end of the night. But full credit to Medina. Great former world champion, great fighter. Took some great shots, great stick. But he's very lucky he never caught me at my best, because he would have been completely took out, and I mean out.
There's no doubt that Naseem proved he had guts and grit against Medina, but no amount of cosmetics can disguise the fact that he was hit an awful lot.
And you see the gum shield come out. Look at that as it landed. Now, if Azuma Nelson had landed that punch, or Marco Antonio Barrera, I'm not saying it would spell curtains for Naseem Hamed, but he would be in a lot worse shape than fighting a light puncher like Manuel Medina. There are plenty of things for them to work on if he is to carry on in this elite level in the world featherweight division.
Azuma Nelson, the Ghanaian nicknamed the Professor, is just one big fight waiting for Naz. Nelson, an explosive puncher. At this stage of the year, the Mexican Marco Antonio Barrera was looking invincible. Would he fight Naz? And the American Tom Johnson, IBF champ for 3 years, was also in the frame. The Prince felt ready for anyone.
I want Tom Boom Boom Johnson. I want the WBC belt, Espinoza, Wilfredo Vasquez. I'm going to clean up, completely clean up. I'd love to box Wayne McCulloch and take him completely out. And that's when he's watching take the fight, because I can't wait to take him completely out. Azuma Nelson, I don't care what he's done in the past. At the end of the day, he's a fighter. He's got 2 arms, 2 legs. He's got a nice chin that I can knock off. The respects are paid for him, but once he's in that ring, totally without the window, and I'm ready to take him out. The dream now is to become a legend. And to become a legend, I know fully well how to become a legend, you know? Is to win numerous world titles at different weights and basically step up and beat everybody and retire undefeated.
Prince Naseem will be strutting his stuff.
I walk through fear.
All the way to Judgment Night.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
3 world titles live on Sky Sports 2, including Prince Naseem against tough Argentinian champion Molina.
Get ready for Judgment Night.
Then, live from Las Vegas on Sky Box Office, the pay-per-view event, Judgment Night Part 2. 3 world heavyweight titles on the line. Judgment Night is coming.
Judgment Night, 6 world title fights in one night in Las Vegas and Manchester, where Prince Naseem would star alongside Nigel Benn and Steve Collins.
Easy, baby, easy. Oh, gosh. Lot of wrestling.
You got to try and box me?
You're right, boss. Oh, yeah.
You haven't got the skill to be able to box me? Yeah. You got to try and box me this time, eh, pal?
Watch me.
Oh, watch me, pal.
Easy.
The Argentinian Remigio Molina was Naseem Hamed's challenger, unbeaten in 27 fights, an ex-electrician who seemed bemused by the hype. Not so the young champion who was determined to steal the show.
I'm telling you, you realise, and with the atmosphere on that night, who is the top of the bill. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Nigel Benn. I'm not taking anything away from Steve Collins. I think you're great fighters, and the best of luck, the best man wins on that night. But what I'm getting across is, I'm the top of the bill, and I will prove so. I mean, I'll be on after Nigel and Steve Collins, and I will perform in the way that I always do perform, in the best way that I can, and that'll always be exciting. I will produce the goods, I will win, you know. And what can I say? It will be me on after Nigel Benn and Steve Collins, and if Steve Collins and Nigel Benn are a little bit disappointed, what can I say? You look at the man at the moment, the man of the 90s, 96, I'm the Licks, it's the Prince, and Nigel and Steve, and as I say, the respect is there, but you come in second.
The recent scares had maybe been a wake-up call for Naseem. Now he was really into some hard training for Molina. One of the most important elements of Naseem Hamed's success is his camaraderie with the other fighters in the gym.
I love it, you know, I love it. I mean, I grew up with the kids, and never ever would you see me like when they say you get to a certain stage you'll be knocking heads with so-and-so or MP or any rubbish like that. At the end of the day, I've got my friends. I know who my friends are, you know. They're down to earth, I'm down to earth. We're all on the same level. And you got your Ryan Rhodes, hopefully he's going to be world champion, definitely. He's got the skill. You've got a wicked laughing Kevin Adamson, Johnny Nelson, Clifton Mitchell, Pelly, Jonathan Paxton. There's loads in the gym I can just pick out.
I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to fall, I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too. Still in bed at 10 and work again at 8. Burned your breakfast so far, things are going great. Your mother warned you that
He's going to be the undefeated, undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world.
He surrounded himself with his friends, with people that understand the game, that understand him, that understand the do's and the don'ts. You know, it's easy to buy a lot of friends, you know, but you find out your real friends when times are hard.
Another British champion, Ryan Rhodes, grew up with Naz in the gym. They're soulmates.
Yeah, we have a right laugh together. We're always together, we have a right laugh. Whether it's at his house playing pool or down by the wall or at the Swallow Hotel where we are now, we have a right laugh together.
They're just so funny, just make me crack up. So sometimes in training or in sparring, I can't really concentrate because they're just having such of a laugh. We have such a laugh in there. We don't mess about, you know. We just have a wicked laugh.
While Naseem trained in the Sheffield gym, his opponent Remigio Molina was giving his first press conference. He couldn't speak English, and his interpreter said he hadn't even bothered to watch a video of Naz.
No, he had the choice, but he made choice not.
3 days later, Naz brought a longer video of himself for Molina to watch.
But tell him not to pull out after you see it. Tell his man, after he sees the tape, not to pull out the fight.
At the weigh-in, the Prince looked trained to the minute. An uncomprehending Molina smiled through the taunts.
I'm gonna broke up this way, you see. I've told you, 2 rounds.
In the last 2 fights, you've had a couple of scares. You were on the floor in one. A lot of people criticised you last time out. Do you think you've got a statement to make, a point to prove this time?
Yep, I've got a point to prove, as I always have compared to your critics. End of the day, I'm the best. I said I will always be the best, and I ain't going to get beat. I'm going to retire a legend. And again, you know what I'm talking about, Curly.
Second minute of the second round, is that what you're saying?
Second minute of the second round, and I don't want you to blink. Whatever happens, don't blink in the second round.
We waited for the sparks to fly on Judgment Night Part 1 from the 9X Arena in Manchester. It holds over 20,000 fans, and it was close to a sellout on this night. Manchester United's Eric Cantona was among the big crowd who gathered expectantly that night. Not that he had to queue, of course.
It's going to be a great night. Looking forward to it. Come on!
So for the 4th time in 1996, Prince Naseem Hamed marched out in defence of his World Championship. Molina tried to shut out the hoopla of Naz's ring entrance. There's no doubt that Naseem felt he had a point to prove to those who were beginning to doubt him. And this is what happened.
Well, they say he's earning millions now in and out of the ring with backing from a lot of blue-chip companies. And, of course, to keep all that going, he has to keep winning. This virtually unknown Argentinian, Remigio Molina, in the blue trunks. And Naseem looked as if he wanted to take him out with one punch, the way he let that right hand go. Last time, Naseem fighting with a heavy cold against Manuel Medina. Didn't look good that night, although he did show grit to get through and prevail in the end. And he was the first man to stop Medina in 7 years. Now, interesting to see how good this Molina is. Caught with an uppercut early on there.
Really, it's all about what Molina is going to make of Naseem, because he throws punches from all sorts of angles, and he throws them all with power.
Naseem actually gave him a video of himself at a press conference this week. I don't know whether Molina actually bothered to watch it or not. Molina just shooting glances at his corner there. Get the impression that Naseem Hamed has worked much longer, much harder, and the word from the gym, from the sparring partners, is that he's been looking electric, but can he do that in the ring as well?
Really loading up with them punches. He's trying to get all his weight into everyone, bring them from all sorts of angles.
Chance of Naseem around the arena. Good right hand from him there. So far, Molina has taken these punches okay. They do say that his punch resistance is good. It might need to be, because the suspicion is now that Prince Naseem is the biggest punching featherweight out there, though in the last couple of fights I've noticed he's getting hit more than he did previously. Certainly in the last one.
Yes, in the last one he was loading up, looking for his own power, neglecting defences. He was made to pay once or twice in the last fight.
It's the 4th defence of the championship for Prince Naseem tonight. Made to miss with those two. Devastating looking right uppercut. Didn't quite land flush. Good punch, that one, from the champion.
Already you start to feel that Ahmed is already getting his time. He's starting to land with decent punches. He just needs to get a little bit closer in.
Last few seconds of the opening round.
I'm thinking about going out there, looking for my shots in the first round, planting them, you know, taking my time and then realising in the second round that it's time to do the business, because I just love that round number 2. That round number 2 to me, just a nice round, and when you've got loads of number 2s on your record, stopped in round 2, knockout in round 2, knockout in round 2, it looks like this guy must be just does it wickedly every time in round 2. You just must aim for round 2 every time, you know. And it just looks good on record.
So Prince Naseem in the leopard skin trunks, the blue of Remigio Molina, who didn't really do very much at all in that opening round, but he took the punches okay. Very busy fighter. Now this is the round that Naseem said he would take Molina out in. He said the 2nd minute of the 2nd round. And he's won 8 times before in this round. Molina trying to calculate what's there in front of him. Naseem smiles at something, seemed to wink at somebody at ringside.
Molina hasn't shown himself to be overawed thus far.
Not a knockdown, and now we are into the 2nd minute of the 2nd round. Let's just see. Looks for the sharp counter there. He's missing a lot, but the right hand got through. Trying to step it up now. Fast punches, good ones, and he's got him going here. Terrific right hand, he walked onto that. Molina took those punches extraordinarily well. How has he not gone down? Thunderous shots. And he shows some real resistance, but he can't afford to keep taking those. It looks good for the Prince at the moment, but what durability from the Argentinian.
Because he's got a sturdy chin and a good character. He's trying to fight back, but you can't take powerful punches like that for long.
He nearly made the prediction come true there. Molina hit by 2 more. At the moment, Naseem's doing what he wants. Right hand and a thunderous left. Molina, I don't think, is going to be able to carry on as he's somehow got to his feet. His eyes were in orbit. He looked to us at ringside. His powers of recovery, remarkable. 3/4 of a minute left in the round. And Naseem Hamed wants to get the job done in the round that he predicted.
Well, Molina's brave, but his feet, his legs just don't look quite there. Unsteady legs, and you just think it's a matter of time now.
It is over. It is stopped in the 2nd round. He said round 2. It is round 2. Molina's protesting, but he stopped on his feet. There were some huge punches again. And that was Prince Naseem Hamed back to his sharpest best. Well, Molina may question the timing of the stoppage, but there was no doubt at all, even if that had gone on, what was going to happen.
It was going to happen. He showed good courage. He showed a sturdy chin. I think a lot of people would have been out there for Molina trying to fight back, but really he was at his best, Hamed. Some very good punching and some very good power.
Now, let's have a look at these punches again, Glenn.
Yes, he just works them. Look at the power. He leans to the right, throws that
the right lead into an uppercut position. He goes down heavily from the left. Excellent punches. He relies on that a lot. Hamed, he gets great success when he turns them punches into uppercuts.
You can ask questions about Prince Naseem Hamed, maybe based on the Manuel Medina fight, but one thing you cannot question is his power. He is the biggest punching featherweight out there. I'm convinced of that. He could knock out anybody. You said round two. It was round two.
Yeah, but was it in the second minute of round two, the way I predicted?
No, it wasn't. It was in the last minute of round two, but we're not going to argue about that, are we?
Are you sure? Well, it was a brilliant performance by myself, you know. Tonight, I proved that no chest infection, no cold, no excuses. Business was done as usual.
There were some thunderous punches there. The crowd here at the 9X Arena are loving that. They enjoyed the performance. Were you surprised he actually stayed up from that first barrage of punches you put in?
Well, he did really well, you know, because he actually caught me with some good shots. He came to fight. I could see it in his eyes. But when I knew comes the second round, and I was letting them rocket launchers go, I knew he was going to be out of there, and I predicted the second minute of the second round. And whoa, what a prediction. I'd like to thank everybody in Manchester and everybody around Britain what's come to support me. Woo! I'd like to thank the fans out there, and the guys out there what's supporting me and sticking by me all the way, because you're looking at a legend soon to be. I'm telling you, I ain't letting you down. For Britain and for the Arab world, don't worry about anything.
Later that night in Manchester, the scene switched to a posh restaurant where the fight crowd had gathered to watch Judgment Night Part 2. Naz was there as the astonishing events unfolded in Las Vegas. Evander Holyfield stunning the world and Mike Tyson. It was a shock of seismic proportions.
All over in the 11th round, and I have to tell you, that is the biggest upset in the fight game, bar none.
Holyfield, one of the greats, which prompted a question and surprising answer from Naz. Tell me, where do you think you've got to in your quest for greatness and to be a legend now? How near?
I'm nowhere near yet. Don't worry about it. End of the day, I want to win 5 world titles.
That's quite an admission from you. You're nowhere near.
I'm nowhere near yet. Not what I want from the bottom of my heart. I want 5 world titles in different ways, different organisations, you know, unifying, not ever getting beat. That's when you can call yourself a legend. I've got a lot to prove.
Frank Warren was there too, and he felt that Naz would one day be as big as Holyfield.
He's a good fighter, don't you worry about it. I know good fighters when I spot them. Naseem Hamed is a good fighter, and he will go on to unified titles, I can assure you.
But one possible fight for the Prince went out of the window when Marco Antonio Barrera was sensationally beaten by New Yorker Junior Jones.
Hard right hand by Junior. To survive. More time than he deserved, but it's going to be over. The bell ends the round. Barrera is knocked down. The referee stopped the fight. Has the referee stopped the fight?
So Naz was matched with the IBF champion Tom Boom Boom Johnson.
Boom Boom, you are going to get boomed out. You're going to get knocked out. And I've changed his name from Boom Boom to Pum Pum. And them out there who really understand that, they know what I'm talking about.
At a smart London hotel opposite Hyde Park, Frank Warren made the official announcement just in time for Christmas.
The fight that I think a lot of people have been waiting for will happen, which will be the featherweight meeting between the WBO featherweight champion, Prince Naseem Hamed, and the IBF champion, Tom Johnson. This is the fight where some of you doubters are going to see whether this young man on my left's got it.
Also on that bill, Steve Collins and Robin Reed, and the hype's already started.
I'm unbeatable. That's a fact. You know, it ain't just something to say.
I admire the confidence.
You know, that's a fact.
I love confidence,
Yeah.
and I love people coming over here
Yeah.
to my country with the confidence.
It's not about your country. It's not about coming to your country. It's about doing what I do best.
You know, if
I'm a traveler.
Don't be starting now. I'm gonna be alright in there.
If you're a good kid,
I'm for real.
If you're a good
I'm
kid,
for real.
after we knock you out,
I'm gonna
we'll
shock
get
up
in
the
your
world
backyard.
now.
We'll let you come to the United States.
Well, I can't hear anything Guinea said.
Don't ever understand.
I ain't underestimating you.
Don't ever
I
understand.
do believe on 8th of February I will knock you out.
I believe you will too.
All right, in the ring I'm talking about, I'm knocking you out.
I believe you will.
That's what I believe. As long as you believe that, and I believe that, then we ain't got no problem. We ain't got no problem. You just told You just told the press now that you do believe that too.
You said the 8th of February, year 2000.
I do believe it. Is that what you said? What did you say?
The press conference ended in a draw, but what about this fascinating fight?
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down at all your feet.
Up close and personal.
Put you in my house. Boom, 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 boom.
Say what you like about Naseem, he always has time for his fans, of which there are quite a few.
See you guys later. Don't forget I said, the 8th of February, back up your man. Because the boys coming from America is going to get knocked out.
Definitely.
There's great fans out there that have got that wicked card, you know, and sending their letters in and saying, basically, you've done great for me, you know, I'm doing brilliant at school, I've got that positive mental thinking, you know, and it's brilliant. You think to yourself, great, as long as the kids, you're showing them good stuff instead of bad, you know, no bad examples out there, you know, I can hold my head up high, and I'm involved in the Teenage Cancer Trust, you know, I'm out there to help, and show people that I'm a genuine man.
From there, it was on to a posh store to buy a few Christmas presents. And this is a fellow who can afford them. According to one magazine, he earned £4 million this year. Another report suggested 10 million. One thing's for sure, his friends can expect rather more than a chocolate selection box this year.
The ring up that's going to go with this.
Even in London society, Naz is now an instantly recognisable face.
You really are. To Jackie, I'm sorry, I've got to have that.
There you go.
Can I tell you, I sat next to Richard Gere the other night and he refused to sign an autograph.
Richard Gere?
He is a miserable Watson.
Well, there you go, there you go. When you meet the prince, you get treated in the right way.
Thank you so much. Very
You're more than welcome.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Yes, he may be rich, but he's not remote.
The money can't ruin me. Totally down to earth. In 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you'll be speaking to the same man in the exact same way. I'm not going to change. And Brendan's always going to be the trainer. I'll always be with Brendan.
Whether you love him or you hate him, you can't ignore him. He's something special. Enjoy him while he's there and while he's here. Because, you know, they only come along once every 100 or 200 years.
I love him. I just think he's such fun to be around. I mean, you know, you guys are all buzzing when we're having a press conference. The press, you know, as much as they say some of them don't like him, a lot of guys do like him, but there's always something to write about. You know, he is a promoter's dream. You know, he's a young Muhammad Ali as far as promoting the fight's concerned. He says all the right things, does all the right things. He's a dream to work with.
The Prince told us he'd be rich and famous. In 1997, he aims to prove he'll be one of the greats.
I'm so hungry, still hungry. Success, the money, the fame, any of it, never ever has it got too much. And at the end of the day, I will always rise to the occasion. I'll always produce the goods and just bring it straight back to you, straight back to Sheffield, and make the whole of Britain proud, whole of England proud, and the whole of the Arab world proud.
Everything. Amicus, there's a difference between losing